So we finally made it. We are at the last video in the Path to the Match series, and today we're going to be talking about what you should do after the match. So on match day, one of two things is going to happen. You're either going to match or you're not going to match. Since of course I'm rooting for all of you to experience the former opposed to the latter, and the to-do list is a little bit shorter for the former, we're going to talk about what you should do after the match if you matched. The number one thing you should be doing after you find out whether or not you matched is celebrate. This is what you've been working for the last 4 years. This is the goal that you've always dreamed of attaining. So you find out whether or not you match on Monday, then you have to wait all week long until Friday to figure out where you're actually going. There's really nothing you can do during this 3-day span other than just wait, which will drive you absolutely nuts, I promise. But after you figure out on Friday where you've matched, take the time to again celebrate. This is so exciting. This is such a huge accomplishment, and you are never going to feel anything like this ever again. After the feelings finally pass, maybe a week or so later when reality starts to set back in, the one thing I recommend doing after the match isn't something you have to do. It's just a kind gesture and is something that I chose to do to show my letter writers a little bit of appreciation. Basically, a week or so after I matched, I simply wrote an email to all 4 of my letter writers to let them know where I matched, to thank them for the time that I was allowed to spend with them, to thank them for everything I learned under their service, gave a few specific examples, and kind of alluded to how that's going to benefit me in the future. Again, just saying thank you because letter writers write a lot of letters of recommendation, and I'm sure they greatly appreciate it when someone actually shows their appreciation in return. And besides, you never know where you're going to cross paths again. Keeping a network is very important, and being a genuine person is also just good. So, moving on to what happens if I get the email saying that I didn't match. Well, don't fret yet. There is still a second option. This second option is called the SOAP, or the Supplemental Offer and Acceptance Program. Basically, this is a mini match for all of the residency spots in all of the specialties that went unfilled. If you didn't match, you will receive a link, including the PDF with the programs and specialties that have open positions available. Keep in mind, if you do match, you will not have access to this information. You don't need it. The match is a binding agreement. If you are happy where you matched, great. It's a binding agreement. You have to go. If you're not happy with where you matched, doesn't matter. You matched. It's a binding agreement. And if you didn't want to match there, then you shouldn't have ranked them. So how does the SOAP work? Basically, the SOAP works on Monday of match week when everyone receives their email saying they yes matched or no didn't match. The yes matched people go on and just do their own thing and humbly wait until Friday. The people who didn't match receive this PDF with all of the available open positions and begin to apply. It literally opens a few hours after you just opened your email saying that you didn't match. So definitely take the time to fret, cry, but dust yourself off because you have a few hours to start re-preparing your application so that you can successfully SOAP into one of the available positions. The first thing to do once you receive the email that you didn't match is take a look at the PDF with all of the programs with open positions. Also, take a look at what specialty these are in. If your specialty is still available, these are probably the programs you're going to want to apply for the open spots for. If, however, your specialty doesn't have any available openings, consider what you would want to do in the future. Would you rather remain unmatched and attempt again next year? Or would you rather apply to a different specialty that perhaps you're still very interested in? And then really the third option you have is to SOAP into a preliminary position, meaning that it's a 1-year position. It gives you experience, it enhances your application, and then you are a stronger applicant next year when you go to apply for the specialty of your choice. After you figure out which specialty you'll be able to apply for, take a look at the actual programs themselves. See which ones can meet your long-term goals. Keep in mind, sure, maybe you didn't match, but that doesn't mean that just because you're going to SOAP into a position doesn't mean you should stop looking for programs that are going to get you to your long-term goal. You should absolutely still be looking at programs who are going to help propel you closer to your end goal in the long run. So now, after you've taken a look at the specialties that have openings available, you've looked at the programs and started to research some of them, what else do you have to do? Well, you have to resubmit your ERAS application to these programs. So that means if you're applying for the same specialty, your personal statement is fine. You can submit this and just reselect the programs that have available openings and apply to those. However, if you are opting to apply to a different specialty, keep in mind that you're going to have to update your personal statement. You can't apply to SOAP positions for family medicine if your original personal statement talks about how you want to be a surgeon. So look at the PDF, see which specialties have openings, look at the programs and start researching into them to see which one can get you to your ultimate goal or at least the closest. Update your personal statement so that it's congruent with the specialty that you are now planning to SOAP into, and then resubmit your ERAS application to the programs that you're going to SOAP into. After all that is said and done, and you resubmitted your ERAS application to the programs that you intend to try to SOAP into, programs can actually start conducting mini interviews. And keep in mind that programs actually have access to your applications almost right after you submit them. They have access, I believe it's on Monday at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So this goes by really fast. You find out that you didn't match at 11, and then by 3 o'clock, programs are actually able to look at your application if you've submitted it to them. Then on Tuesday and Wednesday, you can start going on mini interviews with the programs who invite you. From what I've heard, the mini interviews are pretty similar, but a little bit more of an abridged version of what you would have gotten when you went on your initial interviews to begin with. After these interviews are conducted, programs will essentially make mini rank lists, and then on Wednesday and Thursday, there will be 3 total sessions, 2 on Wednesday, 1 on Thursday, where you essentially mini match and programs can offer you the position. The thing with the programs offering you the position is you have the option to accept or decline. Once you accept, this cannot be undone. Like I said, the match is a binding agreement. You essentially mini matched or SOAPed into this program that you then chose to accept. This is binding. You can't go back and say no. Once you say yes and accept one of these offers, it is a binding agreement just like the initial match. Truthfully, that's all the information I really have on the SOAP. I personally didn't go through it myself, so I don't know how helpful I'll be in terms of answering questions, but I thought that including a little bit of how the SOAP process actually worked would be beneficial to you guys, because it really does happen very quickly after you figure out whether or not you've matched. So to those of you who matched, congratulations. I'm so proud of you. You did it, you made it. And if you are SOAPing, I hope that this gets you as close to your dream goal as it possibly can. If not, gets you there all the way. And don't forget, if you didn't match, it's not the end of the world. It feels like it now, but don't give up. You can always reapply next year, and there are so many ways, including preliminary years, to enhance your application. So don't give up, because you're on your way to becoming an MD as well. Don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe, don't forget to follow me on the gram.